Tim Linder here. Let's talk about type and type on paths and changing type into paths. All right. So if I get my type tool, I'm going to get a larger size here, and I type in some type, maybe a little bit bigger than that. And I want to adjust this or turn this into shapes I can. Right now, it's a regular type layer that I could go in and reselect and edit my type and things like that. We've talked about how you can rasterize this type and make it a regular layer or convert it into a smart object, but you can also take your type and turn it into shapes. It won't be editable as type anymore, but you could work with it at points and vector points and things like that. So if I were to go to type and then I were to choose convert to shape, I now no longer have a type layer, but a shape layer made of that type. And I've got all the points and manipulators to work with it. So if I wanted to come down to my direct selection or path selection tool, I could select individual points and move those around and adjust those however I'd like to create different shapes with my type. So that's one way you could use your shapes with a type. Now, another way that you can, and this isn't necessarily I guess a shape layer, but you can distort your type or warp it with this little tool right here. I think it's also over under edit warp. You could warp it there. But if I were to go over here and click on this little icon here, I could warp the text and I could choose it options from in here. So if I wanted some sort of an arc, and I could change the bend and the horizontal distortion and things like that. Well, it's still fully editable as a type layer. So these are just options to warp my type. So I could do something like that. Now, I could also create type on a path. So if I create some sort of a vector based path, let's say that I get my ellipse tool here and I create a shape layer. So I'm creating a circle there, and then I get my type. Notice if I move my cursor inside or over this line, it looks a little bit different. Right now my cursor's in a little bit of a box there, right? And if I were to roll it over the line, it's got a little squiggly line through it. And if I put it inside this shape, it turns to a circle. So a few different things happen. If I were to click on this shape, notice where I'm clicking to, maybe over here at about, I don't know, 1 o'clock. If I click right here, notice my type starts there at 1 o'clock. And I can still adjust it and things like that. I could type in different, whatever I wanted to on that sort of line. Now, I could also go down with my type tool, and I think you could even get within my shape layer, and I could adjust this shape still, and it will wrap around that shape however I want. So that's one way. If you click on the line itself, it's going to adjust that. It's going to apply that piece of typography on that circle there wherever I've created it. I'm going to go ahead and hit and delete both of these again, and then I'm going to create another circle. So that was one way. Let's say that I wanted to place some type inside the circle. I can go out and I could move my cursor inside here, and if I just start to type, it's going to wrap inside that circle. Say that, you know what, let's try something different. Let's grab some type from somewhere else. I'm going to delete my type layer, and I'm going to go and jump over to Word really quickly and copy some type. Now, know that when you copy type, edit copy from anywhere, the web or anywhere else, unfortunately, the formatting is not going to come into Photoshop the way that it was formatted there with different bolds and whatever type style choices I had made. It's just going to come in at whatever options I have up here at my bar or options bar or in my character panel. That's the way this is going to come in. So if I click and add this and hit paste, it's just pasting in from the way that it was in Word, not necessarily anything else. I'm going to select all there. I'm going to get that a little bit smaller, and I can see, okay, so all that type came in from Word. Still Lorem Ipsum type, but it came in at whatever styling I've got there. However, it did come up within this circle. Also notice that if I click out of here or I hide this circle, I don't even have to see that anymore. I could still come in here and adjust this if I wanted to. Again, just like I did before, and say, okay, let's make this a little bit longer. We'll say, didn't want to do that. I wanted to do it with my type here, and I wanted to adjust it there. That way, because it basically duplicates what that shape layer was, and creates it within this type layer, so that I could make adjustments and adjust how that wraps within there. So I could do something like this. Now I could also, I'm going to delete both of these. Whoop! I didn't want my layer styles panel there. Delete both of these. I could also create my own path and put type on there. So if I get my pen tool and I get some sort of a wavy line, I could get my type tool and I could click on that path and then just start to type, and it's going to create on that wavy line. I obviously can come back in and adjust that wavy line still and make an adjustment there. Everything's still editable. Type on path is a wonderful way to use your typography to create design elements.